beneath our feet, pressure is building. As oceans swell higher and higher, they're doing more than swallowing beaches. They're bending the Earth's crust itself. And where that pressure shifts, something terrifying can happen. Earthquakes, tsunamis, even volcanic eruptions triggered by changes in sea levels. It sounds unbelievable, but researchers warn that rising oceans may quietly be increasing seismic risks in ways we barely understand yet. Ignoring this danger could cost lives in places already sitting on geological fault lines. So today, let's uncover the hidden link between sea level rise and earthquakes, and why this silent threat could shake the ground under your home sooner than you think. How sea level rise changes the Earth's crust? When we think of oceans rising, we picture water creeping over land. But the weight of all that extra water, billions of tons, presses down on the Earth's crust. In scientific terms, this is called loading. The Earth's crust isn't solid like rock on a table. It's flexible, floating over a deeper layer called the mantle. When massive new weight is added, the crust bends downward slightly under the strain. And when that balance shifts, as it does during sea level rise, it can unlock stored stress in tectonic plates, triggering earthquakes. In regions where land meets ocean, even a few feet of rising water can tip delicate geological balances that have held for thousands of years. Real examples of water-triggered earthquakes. This isn't just theory. We've already seen water-related pressure shifts cause real earthquakes. One of the clearest examples comes from reservoir-induced seismicity, where filling large reservoirs behind dams has triggered earthquakes. In India, the filling of the Koyna Dam in the 1960s triggered an earthquake measuring 6.3 on the Richter scale, killing over 180 people. In China, the Zepingpu Dam may have contributed to the catastrophic 2008 Sichuan earthquake, which killed nearly 90,000 people. In both cases, the added weight of water shifted local faults enough to unleash stored seismic energy. If reservoirs can do this at a local scale, imagine what rising seas across continents could slowly be setting in motion. Areas most at risk from sea level-induced quakes. Scientists believe some areas are especially vulnerable to earthquakes triggered or worsened by rising seas. The U.S. West Coast, California, Oregon, Washington, already earthquake-prone and facing sea level rise projections of 1 to 3 feet by 2100. Southeast Asia, Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, high seismic activity combined with significant coastal flooding risks. Parts of Northern Europe, Scotland, Scandinavia, surprisingly, post-glacial rebound and changing sea levels could shift old faults. New Zealand, located on the Pacific Ring of Fire, with rising coastal pressures adding to tectonic stresses. These aren't just guesses. Detailed geological models are starting to show how added ocean weight could push already strained faults closer to breaking. Why sea level rise could also trigger tsunamis? Sea level rise doesn't just increase earthquake risks, it can magnify tsunami threats. When earthquakes strike underwater, they can displace massive amounts of seawater, generating tsunamis. With higher baseline sea levels, future tsunamis could be far more devastating, reaching farther inland and flooding areas that previously would have stayed dry. For example, scientists modeling future tsunami scenarios for Los Angeles and Tokyo found that even moderate earthquakes could cause extreme flooding if sea levels rise by predicted amounts by 2100. What would have been a manageable coastal wave a century ago could become a city-swallowing disaster by mid-century. What research says about this growing threat? Several major studies in recent years have drawn alarming connections between sea level rise and seismic activity. A 2018 paper in Nature warned that rising oceans could destabilize tectonic plates in surprising ways, especially in coastal subduction zones. Research by the U.S. Geological Survey points to sea level rise acting as an amplifier for earthquake risk in coastal zones. Seismologists at Stanford University have modeled fault lines in California and found that even small changes in pressure from water mass could influence quake probabilities over decades. Although not every scientist agrees on the exact timeline, there is overwhelming consensus that the Earth's crust is not immune to the massive new pressure of rising seas. When we think of climate change, we picture heat waves, fires, and floods. But beneath all that, the very ground we live on is shifting. Slowly, silently, dangerously. Sea level rise isn't just a surface problem. It's a force that could awaken old faults and trigger new disasters, and almost no one is planning for it. What can be done to reduce risks? While stopping sea level rise altogether may be impossible in the short term, some steps can help reduce the dangers. Monitoring coastal fault lines closely. Investing in earthquake sensors along vulnerable coasts to detect early movements. Updating building codes. In places like California, earthquake-resistant construction is already required, but more coastal cities may need similar updates. Better tsunami preparedness. Coastal communities must expand tsunami warning systems, evacuation routes, and education efforts. Strategic land use planning. Avoiding new construction in zones most at risk from both rising seas and seismic instability. Ignoring the potential connection between rising seas and earthquakes could leave millions more vulnerable when the shaking starts. The oceans are rising, the land is shifting, and we are standing in between, often unaware, often unprepared. Sea level rise isn't just about flooding cities, it's about disturbing the ancient fragile balance under our feet. The next big earthquake or tsunami might not just come from fault lines we know. It might be triggered by the water we thought we could ignore a little longer. By understanding the hidden dangers today, we give ourselves a fighting chance tomorrow. Because nature doesn't warn twice. For more real-world, serious breakdowns of hidden threats shaping our future, subscribe now and stay ahead while others stay unaware.